There we go. Hello and welcome to the show. Let me get some audio to our guest today. That little hand on the side. Say hello to the crowd.
Waves hello to everybody. It's Data.
Hello to everybody. It's Data.
Okay, do you have headphones in?
No, I don't have headphones. 1 second.
No, I don't have headphones. 1 second.
Better yet, are you watching the stream? Mute the playback channel.
Yes. Yeah, 1 second.
Yes.
Let me minimize that.
Let me minimize that.
No, not just minimize.
Is that better?
If you're watching the playback stream, you're gonna have to make sure. Yeah, that's a lot better right there. I can not hear an echo.
Perfect.
There it is. It's better, but I'll deal. How's that? All right. Data, welcome to the show. We didn't do a whole lot of rundown beforehand because I was still doing some quick last-minute setup as I try to spend a lot of time improving on the show daily.
Yes, you work real hard at it.
I try things out. I don't necessarily know how they're always going to work, but I'm always willing to give things a shot. These new Streamlabs releases seem to be quite entertaining, I should say. They kind of do the job.
Right, exactly. Always improving.
Exactly. Always improving.
I'm wondering, I didn't sit and take the time to send a whole bunch of links out on Discord this morning, and I'm not seeing my usual. Oh, there's Sasuke. There's how we doing this morning. I guess people will file in slowly. This is why I have a short intro, but maybe I should lengthen the new one that I'm about to start working on to like 4 minutes. That just seems long to me to do a 4-minute intro to wait for people to get here. So I apologize if you missed the beginning. What are we going to work on today? Let's see. Let's figure out what I got to screw up and not screw up to get the board to show up here today. Let's get it loaded. Welcome to the Great Debate. All right. Oh, there's the first one is LOL. I didn't show up the first time. Okay. I got 2 hellos. Also, you guys, I haven't turned it all on yet, but in the background, behind the current bot that you all know, there is another bot running on the same name. I'm working on getting it its own so that you'll know that there's more of them in there. And that bot will, well, I don't know, because I'm testing out the new Streamlabs bot. And it has a few things that I do like. It has things that I can transfer over. I might even be able to bring everybody's bones over to the new bot without any, problems. I could do it over the weekend, copy everybody's totals over, and, set everyone up. The thing is, I haven't gone through it yet and tested everything.
I think the math needs to be worked on one of your bots. When it comes to the gambling.
I know, right? That
was
came
weird.
up weird. I've also run into it on the Fussbot on somebody else's channel where I know I'll have something and it'll tell me I can't use it.
Yeah, it'll say you won 1,000 and then you've done the total before and after and you've only won 500.
Oh, well, here's how that works. When you bet $500, it's like going in to bet. You're laying that on the table. The bot is laying that on the table. You're each laying 500 down. So if you win that bet, yes, you won the $1,000, but you're only up 500.
Oh, I see.
Okay. It's not that gets me.
Well,
It's sometimes if you know you have like 100 bones and you do like 420 bets in a row, the fourth one doesn't always go through, and you'll sit there and do it over and over again, and it'll go through when you increase it to like 30, and
yeah, it'll get stuck.
It'll glitch out on
seem
you.
to go. Yeah.
Also, working on getting some new, so there are some added returns. Sasuke, I know you ever so love it, but you are actually categorized a regular on the Shadow Bot, we'll call it right now. That's not a bad name for it. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to write that down because I forget. We need call.
So what do you think about that Mandela effect we were talking about? I mean, I remember that song exactly the way you remember it, yet it seems like it doesn't exist.
So here's my first thought and question on that. I do remember.
Do you want to ask the chat? Do you want to ask the chat first or what they remember?
Feel free. Go ahead. Explain it out how you started with me because they didn't all catch into that.
Okay,
while
chat.
You do that, I'll fix some settings here.
Okay, chat. There was a band called Queen, pretty popular. And Queen had a song called We Are the Champions. The last 3 words of that song are what? Right at the end. Anybody?
Anybody in the crowd? Oh, by the way, if anybody would like to know, I do have new sound effects. A few I'm working on adding in, and I have to say Failure gave me the cricket idea. Thank you, Failure. Not that you really watch all of my shows, but hey. And then there's... I'm working on more. So
that's the way I remember it too. The song was, We Are the Champions.
Of the world.
And at the very end of it, we are the champions. No time for losers, because we are the champions. And then there was a dramatic pause. Then it was of the world. That's the way I remember it
faded
too.
Out.
Yet.
Now, here's my question.
It seems like the Mandela.
Here's my question. Because you have to think about how some albums were done. Was it an interim add-on to the song that sounded like it went with it, but didn't actually? Or was it that we do remember it like that?
Well, I personally remember singing that song about 1,000 times, and I remember the last 3 words of the world. Now, supposedly, that is not true. Supposedly, that does not exist in this timeline. And supposedly, the way I heard it, there was a cover band doing that song at a concert. And when they ended the song, they ended it without Of the World. And like most of the audience were scratching their head going, what the hell happened? Where's Of the World? And that's where people noticed that this is now one of the latest Mandela effects. So there's that. There we go. The world is going nuts. We're going to wake up one day with 6 fingers on each hand, and we're going to freak out. And then half the world is going to go, calm down, count to 12, take a deep breath, and we're going to freak out a little more.
All right. I am trying to make some cool things work in the background here. And I admittedly am still new to this because I'm adding it in there. So I'm going to...
Are you still connected wirelessly?
Am I crackling?
I'm just saying, are you connected wirelessly? I
Oh
remember
no.
discussing that with you a long time ago.
No, I decided the best place for me to be was right here in front of my router plugged in, especially after I got a little letter from my ISP saying, oh, by the way, we took you from what was supposed to be 5 and you were getting maybe 6 or 7 up, and what was supposed to be 50 to 60 down and you were getting 60 to 70. We're going to up that anyways to 10 and 100. So have fun. And
Wonder-
I'm having a fucking blast.
Cool. Yeah, wireless can be iffy sometimes.
Yeah, it's not. If you do hear me crackle, it is not because I'm wireless. Oh, I haven't. That's what I forgot to do at the beginning of the show, guys. I'm running a little behind trying to make sure everything was set up because as I add more, there is more to do. So I have not given my guest a view of the board, so I'm going to give my guest a quick glimpse of what's on one screen and tell me what you see.
I'm seeing 15 screens.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay,
9.
okay. Okay, 9 screens.
There's 2 on the other screen that I'm using, and there's more stuff that I have minimized because
Yay!
because when you run what I'm trying to run, there's a lot here running on my computer.
I mean, you know, heck, it looks almost like you're putting up the space shuttle.
Yeah, I've got a lot going on this side, and it has taken me a lot of learning on every single thing that I incorporate to figure out the best way to do it. So when I start up for the show, not only am I trying to send my link out to like 30 different places or more some days, I'm also starting up, 3 or 4 separate bot windows. I'm loading into all my browsers, making sure everything's turned on and rolling. I'm trying out new stuff.
You need to write yourself a little checklist and add to it as you add to your deal.
I have a notebook in front of me.
Okay.
And then after the show, I try to get to it. But yeah, let's stop rambling. My fault.
Yeah. Anybody have any preference?
No, Dad, this is on you. You
Chat?
get to pick off the board today.
Oh, okay. TV, television. Let's start off easy.
YouTube now has had. Let me start over. YouTube has had live streaming for a while now, but with the new creator and YouTube requirements for monetization, live streaming has become live stream YouTube television.
Yes.
This is just an open chat, so describe your feelings, how you feel.
Yes. It seems like it has. Actually, I think YouTube is really they're missing the point. See, they have a platform that's completely unique. They have a platform that is replacing legacy television. Legacy television is dead, and they seem to be hell bent to somehow try to sell themselves to legacy television as opposed to being what they are and replacing legacy television. They should be the leader, not the follower. But we have a SJW CEO that sounds like a Valley girl, and we have a lot of demonetization for wrongthink. And there's even some people that don't call it YouTube anymore. They call it their tube because they seem to think it's theirs, that the creators don't count.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
I have, sorry, as I stand and stretch a little bit, my legs are getting stiff already from sitting here 20 minutes. I have a mild complaint about YouTube, and it's sort of the same complaint other creators have lodged, and it's spreading slowly. So the mild complaint is that YouTube used to be just a platform to host what the creators put up there in an effort to get as much content up there as possible. Now that they've hit that point, they've kind of turned around and said, okay, now we've gotten complaints here and complaints there. We need to moderate it. Well, if YouTube weren't responsible for moderating it, it would go back to the common sense principle. Sorry if it's not always common, that if you don't want to watch something, don't watch it. Advertisements are going to show up on anything that's done because whatever company is going to host or do something is going to have advertisements. Now, Google has stretched to like 10, maybe 100-fold of their censoring, filtering, and combing through of their own material. And it has inevitably caused an overlap between controversial and not allowed. And people don't quite know where they fall in that overlap, but they want to fall as close as they can. Because
they
what
never
gets
will.
the hits.
They never will figure it out because YouTube doesn't explain it, and the AIs are still learning, and the whole thing is bogus anyways. I mean, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but our CEO Susan, before she was CEO of YouTube, she was CEO of AdSense. She knew perfectly well that the first ad apocalypse, that ads aren't attached to videos. Ads are attached to eyeballs. In other words, your group of ads follow you, the watcher. They're not attached to the video. So if you pull up an ISIS video and Coca-Cola shows up, it isn't because Coca-Cola was attached to ISIS. It was because Coca-Cola was attached to John Q. Public. And she could have just as easily said that, but instead, I think she used it as a ploy to get rid of wrongthink, to make the platform sellable to mainstream, to what's it called, the new television products, smart TVs.
Yeah,
that's because that's the new platform. That's tube televisions and broadcast is gone, and now it's all smart TVs. And she wants to sell a nice little spot of legacy media in her smart television and make YouTube great again by going back 30 years.
A little note I want to make on the side, and I fall victim of this myself. Even on the days especially on the days I have shows, I have to get my content from somewhere. I have to get ideas, or I'm going to have a pretty dry show. Eliminating, particles on this board here, and eliminating topics on this board here is going to become a regular thing if I don't start consuming more than I already am. And I consume a lot of material during the day, but sometimes I stop and walk away just because you have to.
Well, if you sit all day, you're gonna get fat.
I'm too active to sit here and watch too much material, but I end up trying to put something in my pocket and listening to it, going for a walk, running errands.
Right.
The thing I see going on right now is there aren't quite networks put together, but slowly YouTubers are building networks out of their material. And you'll go from one show, like you might watch mine here, to either Failure in the Morning or maybe into Madwoman Media's News in the Morning. And then once you leave there, you're probably, not definitely, but probably going to Tonkasaw's channel when he starts. And then you're going to sit there for an hour or two and get a few things done while you listen. And then you're going to move to an Irate Bear channel or into another channel to try and grab some of their content until, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Until the Poo Podcast comes on. And then after the Poo Podcast, there's another one at 7. And then after 7, there's another one. And then after that, you start watching a string of shows. And these creators, we sort of know where you're headed. So we link the next show, or we throw you ideas on where to go because of who we see. And it's starting to create our own internetworks on the YouTube. So I don't know.
Yeah, but do you think that's Do you think that's actually done like uh, I want to say, do you think that's not just accidental? In other words, there's certain people that gather channels, and sometimes their channels are very similar, and they'll just, watch what's live. They'll go to their suggestion or their subscription page and see what's popping.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen in a live show. You watch a video, you can go through it faster. You watch something back, you can hit the increase speed buttons.
But
We all know where that is.
but remember, back in the day before YouTube, didn't most people just have their TV running in the background? They would put it
Yeah,
on a
that's what
particular
I did.
channel that had most of their shows that they liked, and they would just let it play in the background.
Right.
The one thing great about YouTube is the interactivity. I mean, this is a place where we can actually talk to the quote stars. We can talk to the cool kids and get an answer back, or a wave hello, or a shout out. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't like you could do that, 20 years ago.
But at the same
So I
time,
think
the
that's where.
people that we're looking at as the stars, or the people that we want to get the shout outs from, they're stars in front of 30, 40,000 people, as opposed to stars in front of a network that maybe gets, 50, 80,000 people
Oh yeah,
watching at a
yeah,
time. So until you hit a certain point, how do you compare with the current television and say that
yeah. I
that
don't
it's
think you
something
can
new?
compare. That. Yeah, well, I
I say
mean,
that
that's the
that
thing. I don't think
comparison
it's
rate is
apples
getting
and.
closer, though. It is getting closer. It's two different types of media. It's interactive multimedia, but
Right.
at the same time, news is almost starting to get that way, where they're answering tweets and online questions and emails some shows.
I,
So it's all in. Where
it's.
does
I mean,
everything keep going from here?
well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like to compare YouTube to television is like to compare television to radio. I mean, it's just two different animals. It may be media, and that may be the species it is, or the family it is, but it's a whole different animal. And it's definitely. I mean, television is dead. I mean, the average watcher of television is 55 years old or something like that. Another 15 years, there is no more television. And that's where this plan is. In other words, that's why Susan's trying to shape this platform to fit it into smart television, because they're trying to get the couch potato back. They're trying to develop a new couch potato.
One that can sit on any couch, even if it's not literally a couch.
Right. And maybe one that also doesn't have the interactivity, that doesn't care about the interactivity, that literally wants to be like old media. I mean, maybe that's what they're trying to groom.
I have started seeing, I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or a channel thing. Maybe it's a channel thing, because I don't know why I would turn off my live chat. But I was watching was it the Rogan show, had like 17,000 people watching, and there was no chat to go along with anything, because I was going to peek in the chat and, give my little skull and ellipses. And I couldn't find the chat.
See see
It
what's
wasn't there.
See what Saskia said? Well, do you also have it on top chat or live chat? Because that's a new thing, which you have to click on live chat, and that gives you all the chat. The top
Oh, no,
chat
that part I
is
understand.
the clean chat.
And honestly, I have multiple devices, and I was watching Ren's stream
The filter
yesterday.
chat, the filter chat is set to default,
Yes,
even
it
on the
is.
multiple devices.
But on multiple devices, if you
So
put
yeah,
one to live and one to filtered, it's very, very little you see taken out in the smaller rooms. It's the big rooms. It's when people start having a lot of chatter in their room, you start seeing
right.
shit really get filtered.
You see
I
what
ran a
Saskia
test with
said? I
a
mean,
couple dozen
she
words.
the they basically go to their subscription feed and see what they like and see what's fresh and watch it. And the other good thing kind of about it is if you're not really looking into doing your live, you can just pick and choose what you want to see now and then just pick it up later.
Either am I having any, oh, hello, Lo-Fi, welcome. Either it's really early for people in the morning, or maybe I just neglected to send out enough notices that I was live, because our watch today has been less than half of normal.
Maybe it's me.
I doubt it's you. Maybe it's me. Am I dragging? Should we go move to the next topic now? I would like to see some progression of this show.
Okay, so let's see. Next topic.
I'm not allowed to
we'll
laugh
do a
after I
general
do that voice,
topic. We'll do a general topic, and we'll do creator tips. That sounds interesting.
Networking, consuming, interacting, improving are hard to remain consistent on, but are vital to growing online. Challenges can be...
Okay, challenges can be not enough friggin' time in the day.
Oh, that is absolutely one of the
real world.
challenges.
The second one is real world. Cutting into it.
IRL, this chair hurts my ass, so I couldn't sit here all day.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't even have a Twitter account. I mean, that may sound insane, but I can't see. I mean, I watch these people on Twitter, and they're like staring at their phone 24/7, and I can't do it. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't even have a smartphone. I have a dumb phone. All it does is actually make phone calls.
I know a lot of people.
And yeah,
like
I may get a text every once in a while, but screw it trying to answer them. I just dial them back and go, "Hey, what's up?"
Right.
So yeah, I mean, those are the challenges I can see.
I have to.
I guess the other one, if you're going to be a creator, you have to also, since you're working for yourself, you really have to be pretty strict with yourself too. I mean, if you're your own boss, you really have to, get your to-do list out and try to knock off as much as you can on that list, and be organized to keep things rolling in one direction.
I notice a lot of problems that I seem to have. Networking, you kind of, and it's really hard to get over this, but you kind of want to keep it in your head at the same time as to not act like the white YouTuber. You want to go into a chat and be like, "Hey, you, subscribe. You too, get over here, subscribe. You, get over here, subscribe. I need people to come watch my show so that I can get more feedback." Well, hold on. I'm also trying to consume that material to get thoughts and concepts and, get a train of where I want to go with what I'm doing. I'm trying to interact with other people in the chat while I'm trying to consume that content. I'm trying to also at the same time on my computer work on, okay, this curtain looks a little pixelated when I zoom in. I need to make the picture 2560 by 1440 so that I can zoom it in and don't lose the quality of the image. So now I need to make a new image because the one I have isn't that high quality. Okay, so now I need to work on that. And I need to get my show prepared and ready. And I need to get all the links out. And I need to make sure, okay, where's my guest for today? Do I have a guest for today? What am I going to do if there's no guest for today? And then on the side, it's, do I have my drinks lined up? Have I used the bathroom? Like, it is really hard
it's a job.
To sit and to try to do this. Now, I'm not trying to appeal to anybody in the crowd and say anything, but this is hard to be this consistent for the crowd to get a crowd. However,
right.
At the same time, when it comes down to showtime and the fact that I can come in here and get something going and talk to somebody and I get even one compliment, maybe for, I really don't like this, I really don't like that, maybe a compliment, or truly what I get from a couple viewers is that little, hey, I don't like that I can't see the beginning of the Great Debate title on one screen and the end of it on the other. Okay, you know what? You're right. I didn't like that either. Let me see if I can adjust and play with that a little, because that's what I'm doing. So I want to keep you guys entertained, but at the same time, I want to keep myself entertained. That's why the bots are so screwy stupid.
Well, you got to have, I think ultimately you too. I mean, yes, it's a job, and yes, it's a lot of work, and yes, you have to keep the interaction going. And I mean, hell, sometimes it's as simple as just saying the person's name that is commenting and reading their comment as opposed to just reading their comment. But ultimately, well, there you go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ultimately,
just a guideline.
You gotta love what you do too, because I think that comes through. I think if you're just doing it to like make money, or you're just doing it because you've got time to kill, I think that comes through.
It started doing the videos. It was I have time to kill. Okay, this is fun. This is cool. I enjoy it. Oh, look, people are watching it. I enjoy that people are watching it. I'm going to do more videos. And your consistency sometimes and your desire to continue is partially your crowd. If you're not drawing people in that go, hey, cool. Hey, this is nice. Hey, this is a cool idea. Have you thought about this? Have you tried that? Can you help me with this? It's like, okay, cool. Now I'm actually interacting with people. I'm having a good time. I'm using what I know to help them and taking what little they think they know and going, that's a good idea. How could I do that? I'm playing with different techniques. I try at least one new program or new app or something every week, and I try to add something to the bots if I can every week. I try to interact with the people that want to interact as much as I can sometimes. But at the same time, we all know there's real life too. So I'll walk around with, this is sad to say, I have 2 digital devices I carry with me. Because of circumstances some of my viewers know about, not going into it, but I have my phone and I have another phone, and the other phone's not connected to the internet right off. I just tether it to the first one, so I will be watching something on one phone and checking all of the media and everything on the other during the course of going for a walk half a mile down the road. It's like I don't give up on my job. I'm trying to remain consistent. I'm trying to remain interactive. I'm doing a decent amount of back work to make sure that I keep up with what I'm trying to show too. So I do understand when other creators run into that mental block on what they're working on or how to come up with topics or ideas. And I hit that mental block sometimes almost on a daily basis. So this creator tip right here was really, I struggle with some of these things. How do other people feel? Do you have ideas? Happily and always take every real idea that I can get. But again, and Saki said it here shortly ago, it's difficult. You do good. It's difficult to start up, but you're right on the consistency. One of the problems I have with some of my favorite creators is that they don't have everything that they like to do scheduled. And I'm not talking about movies. Movies are like videos that they put out now are like bonuses unless they're regular daily videos. And then it's like, okay, cool, I'll check out today's video in between everything else. The streams, the consistency on the streams and being able to know that, hey, during this time block, I'm going to catch this person do this show. And that's going to entertain me for this amount of time, hopefully. That's the hard part. Now on my end, what do I enjoy? I enjoy that here on my side of the computer, I can do very, very many overlordish things or I can make myself feel like, okay, nobody, okay, never mind.
Did you ever record that Star Trek battle music?
No, I know there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. What I'm doing now, because I start off with sound effects that are just kind of dumb to me, and this is where the recycling through your content is a good idea. I think I'm just going to actually, you know what, I'm going to try and do a stream later with the ins and outs and some of the complications and the testing of some of the stuff I've been working on. Let us get back to this board over here that I've barely used.
The Great Debate.
I can play that if you really want.
Oh, no. Okay, so we picked easy, we picked general. Now let's pick hot. Government. Let's do something boring.
Government representatives should be prohibited from fundraising for their parties during their time serving as representative. Some currently spend as much as 40% or more of their working time raising funds.
True.
Can you put your answer in the form of a question?
Oh shoot! I got a call. Can you hold for a second? Well,
Sure.
You know what? Never mind.
Just mute, and then I'll start it up, and you can jump back in. How's that?
What?
Just go ahead and mute yourself here, and then
Okay. 1 second. Okay.
All right. I was watching something that explained how the Democratic and Republican parties would spend a large portion of it. They were obligated by their parties' affiliations to spend a portion of their time sitting at a desk making phone calls to raise for their party. Now, I do understand that the parties need raising for, and I don't feel it should be the representatives' job or obligation to be during their working time or during a time when don't they have enough other crap to do? Don't they? They're supposed to be there making laws, but they spend more than half of their time, it seems, filibustering and giving a bunch of interviews and debate shit about how they feel or what they think is going to happen. And then you hear other stories about how people are reaching over the desk to vote for another representative. And then you hear pencils dropping off the desk. And then you hear that they're spending almost 40% of their time or more in some cases fundraising to make the money for their party. And you wonder, what the hell are they getting paid for? What are they actually doing? Why is it structured like this if they're being paid with taxpayer dollars? I got my pencil back. Now I can write notes. My biggest problem is always, it's a little bit they have what I don't have. And I will own up to that. It's, I have an income that is manageable but doesn't allow for a whole lot of extra. And then senators or other representatives from the area I live in make 3 to 7 times that. And I wonder to myself, how hard is this? I've actually looked into possibly getting into office, except for my record. I could. My record prohibits it in some areas and in some states. So I have looked into it and what it would take. It's not that I'm talking about it and haven't thought about it. It's going to cost me a pretty penny to even to begin to think about it as a legitimate course of action. But I can in other areas. So I'm looking at my question. Why do they spend all that time fundraising? If I were a rep and I were getting paid good money to be a representative, then I'd want to be spending my money doing what I got voted in to do. So if I got voted in to push for something, I would be the one lobbying for that in the wherever I would be representing for, whether it be state or national level, I would be the one lobbying for that because that's what I was after. I wouldn't be taking lobbyists from other delegations, companies, and parties trying to push for what they wanted necessarily. So I think that, yes, restrictions have been put on them, but they're still a little too open from what and where they can do, and they really need to focus on the job.
They need to get all money out of government. Period. I mean, right now our government is in the pocket of 30 families. They're the same 30 families that own over 50% of this world. That's why Congress doesn't represent the people anymore.
Yeah, I think about this sometimes. Again, I take long walks. I listen to videos, and I listen to how people are talking about what the rules are, and I watch a little bit of Tucker, and I watch a little bit of clips from this and that. And
it really isn't about Republicans and Democrats anymore because it's all the same. I mean, they want us fighting. You know, the people, our owners, the people that are in charge want us fighting. They want the Democrats fighting the Republicans. They want the males fighting the feminists. They want the whites fighting the people of color. Because with us all at each other's throats, we won't notice that all the money's going to them.
Saki, that's for yesterday. Hopefully that goes through to you. There it is. It's yours. That's for yesterday. I forgot to. I have a problem with misallocation of resources, let's call it, to be fair and centrist on it, and taking paid time away from somebody who's paid by taxpayers to raise money from taxpayers just seems
right.
A bit redundant.
Right, exactly. I mean, and for what? To pay for commercials, to spend millions of dollars on commercials when in actuality the government could say to all the lamestream media, you have to give us X amount of hours of television, or hell, at this point they could have their own channels.
This is down to, not to interrupt, I apologize. I like interrupting. I do it a lot. This is down to a couple of the people in the chat, Sasuke and Saki. I believe if you type the word bone, don't all do it at once. Just type the word bone, press enter, and sit back, because I'm learning how cool some of these bots will be if you play with them enough.
So yeah, I mean that's misallocation of funds. Hey, how about the 15 super carriers that are on order to replace the 15 carriers we have now at over $1.5 billion apiece?
Oh, yes. I love those super carriers. I thought there was only 4.
15 new ones on order.
Whoa! Now those are the new high-tech ones where the bridge has been lowered in the ship. It's almost like a submarine setup.
It's to be honest, it's a boondoggle, because in modern warfare, one friggin' missile could end it. You don't put all your assets.
How it had.
You don't put all your assets
front and side
on a single target.
Something.
I'm just saying, you don't put all your assets on a single target. This is, who are we fighting? Who are we fighting that we need 15 aircraft carriers? We're not fighting Russia. We're not fighting China. The government says we're fighting terrorists. Frankly, those terrorists were trained by our government. So, I mean, who the hell are we fighting? Why are we spending, $1 trillion a year on defense? And at the same time, The DOD is losing $1 trillion a year that they can't account for.
Why is that?
And yet we can't afford health care. We can't afford Social Security. You kidding me? We can't afford to rebuild.
I personally have a problem with health care. I have a minor issue with Social Security, but it's an understandable system that makes sense in the long run. I have a problem with health care.
Do you have a problem with rebuilding our bridges?
No.
And roads? And
I posed this to R.I.P, and I've been harassing him about it since. Would you prefer that your tax dollars paid for universal health care, or would you prefer your tax dollars paid for all of the roads and bridges to be upkept properly?
Yeah, the last 10 years in England, you know, they used to be in the 70s very, very socialist, in other words, and they had a pretty decent healthcare system, but over the past, I don't know, 15, 20 years, they've gone the privatization route, and they've had people literally dismantling their healthcare and selling their trains to private companies and their transportation, and it's like, you know, the kids today, they see their healthcare and they see it as it is today. Well, you know, as it is today is a shadow of what it was. So, you know, but at least they have it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like here where insurance will cost you $1,500 a month or $1,000 a month, and you have to come up with the first $5,000 or $10,000 of the bill. What the hell's that about?
Yes, roads are paid by local. Hold on, Saki the Real has one in here. Our healthcare is NHS, paid by the central government. Roads and such are paid by the local council. NHS, we have it, mate. You have no clue how it does not work. We have every clue how it does not work. However,
how can it work if you don't put money into it?
Right. Our healthcare system doesn't work properly for a good reason. We're getting off topic again, so I'll try and keep this short, and we'll get one more topic out of this board today. You mentioned that the national government pays for the healthcare. Yes, so they have to tax everybody a certain amount, and they have to take a portion or a percentage of their total accrued taxes and put it out towards healthcare. And then local governments usually have to pay a little bit towards the federal government to cover some of those funds. So they have to cover some of that too. The local governments are also taxing you, probably equally proportionate to the national government, to take out for the roads. But then, depending on your job, don't know about Britain, but I'm pretty sure it's close, the employers are probably also being taxed for healthcare, and they're paying into that healthcare pool. So they're getting taxes for healthcare on 3 different levels, all from the same people in some cases. And that's an awful lot of tax collection. I would prefer maybe the national government took over the roads and said, fuck it, you guys are all on your own for healthcare. If you aren't going to work for it, you don't get it. Feel free to die on the street. Sorry, is that mean?
Saki, I have a question for you. I know that your gasoline is very expensive in England, but do you have tax on your gasoline also?
That's a good question.
See, in the United States, our roads and highways are paid for by a percentage of tax on every gallon we sell. Oh, I'm sorry, petrol. Your petrol.
Does your fuel?
I mean, I know that it's very expensive there. It's something like $9 a gallon, which seems insane to any American
until they drive to Canada. I mean, yeah.
What, is it that expensive in Canada?
I haven't been up there in What year is it?
Then why the hell is why the hell is Canada sending us their oil and pipelines if they're paying that much for
I want to
gas?
say last time I was up in Canada was a little bit over a decade ago, and it was like 2 something per quart or liter or however that works, which is like 9 something, or was 9 something. I'd hate to know what it is up there right now.
So Saki says that car owners there are taxed multiple ways. I've heard of taxing cars like in London Central because of the traffic. The gas guzzlers get a certain fee put on them. There's also, I assume, tolls and whatnot on the roads. I guess also you could consider speeding tickets a sort of tax.
I have a spare buzzer. Let's get one more topic out today so we don't disappoint our crowd. And we're going to have a fuck off stream later.
Okay. Let's see.
I'll send you a link.
How about if we throw this one to Chad? Does Chad have any interesting
recommendations for the next topic?
Recommendations for the next topic?
What would you all like to do? Would you like me to talk like this until you pick a topic? I think you can hear me.
Well, it looks like it's been
lo-fi chicken and sex.
It is. We have multiple sex going on.
Okay, this is gonna be fun. If a man being attracted to a dick is gay, why are men always loving their dick? I guess. #not all.
Well, I mean, a dick and their dick are 2 different dicks.
But it's still a dick.
I mean, there's Tom, Dick, and Harry, too.
And there's a hairy dick on Tom.
You know what? This is a question that is probably a question that's never going to have the right answer.
Oh, Lo-Fi says it's scientific. Yes, I was also watching the stream where traps were explained and how fallacies are enticing to everybody.
Yeah, well, I've heard something in the works. Trannies are great at sex because since they've had a dick, they know how it feels.
I've heard
this is all anecdotal.
Hey, I want to apologize if people don't like the way this show is going in this direction at this point of the show, but there's 5 minutes left. Just stay tuned and have a laugh. Why not? But I have tuned into many a explanation of trannies. Well, it's not gay if the balls don't touch. Well, how are their balls touching your balls, or your balls touching their balls? And what if the balls do touch? If it gets gay, then do you kick them? How do you do that? Wait, what are we talking about? No, wait, why is there confusion?
Lo-Fi says, so the main reason that guys like dick, their own, is based on our brain back when we were primating. It's proven that men lingers on the following: boobs, face, ass, and dick before vagina.
That's because when they're standing, you can't see it. You have to have them turn around and bend over and maybe tilt their heels out from their toes just a little.
This also explains why trap and tranny porn is so popular. It literally hits the primal centers of the guy's brain, and all the parts they watch the most.
Okay, so I hate to admit this,
but
you have to do a lot of looking on the internet to do videos and to think about things. And well, there's also the incidental improperly titled.
Well, Saki
porn.
also has a point, but then again, some people, Saki, are attracted to old, fat, hairy men. They're bear lovers.
That's where I was going with this. Is I have an odd question. Let's pose it to according to the YouTube watch page, the whole 5 of us. Okay? The whole 5 of us are going to decide what the huge distinction is between a trap and a transvestite.
Well, I thought a transvestite isn't sexual, is only about the clothes. In other words, they get turned on by dressing up. They don't necessarily get turned on by other men. They get turned on by dressing up.
But
a trap is
transvestites also actually search for intimate encounters.
Well, they want to be passable, but I don't think their ultimate goal is to play tonsil hockey.
Maybe not, but we're asking, how is a trap? How is a sexually labeled male dressed and gendering as a female tricking other males? I have air quotes over here if none of you realize it as I slow these words down and realize you can't see my fingers. Good. Okay. How do you have the debate over whether having sex with a trap is or isn't gay, but not sit here and go, well, wait, isn't the trap just basically a transvestite who wants to be a girl for a while, but not as a regular thing? I don't understand all of this. I'm confused. Help me.
I'm a little confused too. I mean, I remember when being gay was just being gay.
Lo-fi with the failure comment. Nope.
Being gay was light in the loafers, jazz hands, and loving musicals.
Okay, so hold on. Now, I don't mean to throw a wrench in, and I don't want to assume anything that might be incorrect, but whether you're trying to be a girl all the time or not, this goes back to my basic premise on the differences between a boy and a girl. And those differences are the ones that I encounter in teaching my children as they grow. And that's, they don't pee the same. Now, I'm not saying I have any problem with anybody or the decisions or anything like that, and I'll deal with it. I just don't understand any of it, and therefore I will continue to question it.
Right. I think lo-fi has it. I mean, transvestites do it on occasion. They don't. It's a lifestyle, but it's not a. Well, maybe it isn't a lifestyle. It's a hobby, not a lifestyle. Whereas a transsexual, it is a lifestyle. I mean, you also have to think that gay men aren't trying to be female just because they're attracted to men. I mean, and that's where this whole craziness with what's his name, the one on YouTube that said
Lacey.
Not being attracted to transvestites was somehow a bloody crime.
I don't know. Hell was it?
You know who I'm talking about? Riley Dennis.
Oh,
exactly.
Oh my God. I don't think. Hold on. Everybody in chat got Riley Dennis.
Riley Dennis is
I'm tempted to invite it to the show.
Is supposedly a transsexual that is a lesbian.
I do understand the thought. Maybe.
In my mind, that's the complicated way to see it. The more simple way is that he is a male who likes passing as a woman, but is attracted to women. So Riley is a transvestite, not a transsexual. I mean, keep it simple. It's got to be a lot more simple than.
But wait, he's taken the hormones and had surgery, so he's
Well, then
gone
he's
from
taking-
transvestite
he's
because a
taking- right, but he's
transvestite is
taking-
just dress. It's just appearance.
Well, that's the thing. He's taking his transvestitism to a lifestyle level as opposed to a hobby. It's still simpler that way than saying that he is a she that is a lesbian.
Yeah. I'm still confused. I don't know what's going on in the world today. Okay, moving forward.
I mean, to be honest, I would find it much easier to listen to Riley if she had much bigger boobs. Is that sexist?
You know, I know I've already gone a few minutes over time, but I will note this by saying I do watch Riley's content. I try to watch Ash's content. I try to watch some of Blair White's content. I try to watch others that I can't necessarily think of or don't want to list the names of.
I don't know where you find the time.
Literally, I have a computer. If I steal it, I have my wife's computer. I have the 2 devices. I have headsets.
No. Devices are set aside. I mean, literally the time. I mean, I find myself like going through my subscriptions, and then all of a sudden I'm having coffee, and then all of a sudden it's lunch, and then all of a sudden it's dinner, and then all of a sudden it's dark out, and I'm like, where the hell did the day go?
And I'm the at-home dad who makes lunch and dinner. What am I making for dinner tonight? Oh, I'm eating lasagna. That's easy.
I mean, hell,
made an extra pan just for ease.
Lucky you have kids, because you'd be like cocooned to your desk chair.
Yeah, and I happily get up from my desk and work with my kids. I even bring my kids up to my desk and show them how some of the stuff I'm doing works and what I'm working on to get input from what they think. But I try to, again, there's not enough, back to where we were at the beginning of the show, there is not enough time in the day. Not enough.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm amazed that you can see that much.
I have to watch a few streams at a time some days.
I start off my morning with some coffee, and then I watch one of my favorite space weather channels called Suspicious Observers, and he's actually a really interesting guy. He's he's a citizen scientist, and he's been on YouTube for like a decade, and the stuff that he's figured out, the mainstream science is now starting to follow. He's literally got an 80% accuracy on figuring out where the next earthquake is going to happen. He can literally predict earthquakes. That's friggin' amazing. For a YouTuber?
Yeah, for a YouTuber. I think, not to cut everybody off, but we're already over time.
Space weather. He does like solar flares and this and that, and then he's actually come up with a thesis that solar energy and the Earth and all the planets are connected electrically, and our weather, our actual weather, and earthquakes, there's a electrical component to it, and it's pretty damn amazing. You can see some of his data where for every hurricane there's been over the past 10-15 years, for every major earthquake over the past 10-15 years, there's been a solar disturbance at the exact same time. So there is a connection. And now Main Street is actually starting to follow suit.
I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna cut you off to end the great debate. And we're going to try and have something a little later this afternoon. I will come up with a time and throw the live link, which you guys all should be memorizing by now. It's just youtube.com/c, the letter, /NumbedSkull, me, /live. And that'll bring you to my next show, whatever it may be. So until the next show, I thank you, Data Wasteland, for joining me on today's. I thank
Thanks
everybody.
for having me.
Absolutely. Everybody's invited to be on my show. That's how I am. Just nice mellow
I hope
conversation.
everybody enjoyed. I hope everybody enjoyed the convo. And maybe did you want to jump into the green room just to BS a little bit, or with the
let
chat?
me go take my. If we want to, everybody's feel free to hop in the. I actually have one just for purposes like this. If you want to keep on what you're going with, up one list.
So,
There's a room called In Burning Discussion. There's one called Conversation Continued. And let me go have a cigarette, use the bathroom, refill my drinks, and I might hop in there for a little bit this morning, and we'll see if we can't get an idea together before I set up for the show later.
Okay, and I guess Saki and Daryl and Lo-Fi see us in there, and we can shoot the shit.
All right, I'm in there, and I'm muted, so I will see you there shortly, guys. Have a good day. Thanks for joining the show. Do I still have outro music, or did I accidentally delete it? Nope, there we go.
Have a good day, everybody.